I wouldn't mind doing a few questions in the unit review. This is question 15 in the unit one review. So some of these can be complicated without technology. So let's look at this first question here. So use the data listed in technology to create frequency histograms with 5, 10, and 20 classes. So I'm going to model this one. I think these is technology is the graphing calculator. So I'm going to model this with our graphing calculator. So I'm going to be using the TI-84 here for this. The first thing I'm going to do is input this data into the calculator. So to do that, we can hit stat and then edit. And my list one is clean. But remember, if your list one has got stuff in it, go up, hit the clear button, and then drop back down, and it should be empty. So I have three, enter. So I'm going to put this data into the calculator and I'll be back in a second. So I've got the data in the calculator, and it's not a bad idea to just kind of scroll through and double check 3, 8, 7, 12, 4, 11. I was kind of going down. If you want to go across, it doesn't really matter. But we should have 25 entries, I believe. So if I scroll down here, we see 25. Now, to make a histogram, we're supposed to create a histogram with 5 classes, 10 classes, and 20 classes. Now, to do this, we actually would need to create a frequency table, but we're going to kind of bypass the frequency table. But we do need a couple of critical pieces of the frequency table. One of the things we need is if there's 5 classes, we need to know its class width. So remember, to determine class width, we need the maximum value minus the minimum value, and then we divide by the number of classes. So in this case, it's going to be 5. Now, if you can identify the max and min just by looking at it, we're there. But remember, you can also hit stat and do number 2 and sort, and you can do L1, hit enter. And now if you go back to stat, edit, your list would have the minimum value and the maximum value would be 15. So 15 minus 1 would be 14. 14 divided by 5 is what we need. So if I quit this, I can go 14 divided by 5. That's going to give me 2.8. And we round up to the next whole number, which would be then 3. So what we're going to do now is create a histogram in our calculator. So what I do is there's a stat plot up here, or right above y equals. So I hit second, hit the y equals button. It should take me to the stat plot. I'm going to go to plot 1. So I'm already on plot 1. Hit enter. And I'll set it's on, and a histogram would be this shaped graph. And it's coming from list 1. So that's what we want is list 1. Now, to create a histogram to start with is I hit zoom and number 9, zoom stat will generate a graph for me. Now the catch is it auto generates its own histogram, but what I need to do is fix the window. So on the window, I need to change my X scale from 2.3 to 3, because that's what our class width was, is 3. So if I change that to 3 and then go back to graph, it should generate now just 5 classes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes. Now, if I hit the trace button, I can see the frequency of each one. So numbers between 1 and 4, there's 6 there. Between 4 and 7, there's 5. Between 7 and 10, there's 6. 10 and 13 is 5. And 13 and 16 is 3. So notice how it also gives me my classes, my lower limits and upper limits there too. So it does have that in there, but we didn't have to actually do that. It did it for us. So that would be the graph I'm looking for in my lab. And it's probably multiple choice, so you just have to identify the graph there. So that's going to be the graph of 5 classes. Now, to do 10 classes, we have to quit this, and we again have to find the class width. So this time we're going to do, for 10 classes, we're going to do this 14 was our max amount of from n, but now our number of classes is going to be 10. So if we divide 14 by 10, it's going to give me this 1.4, which rounds up to then 2. So what I can do now to create a histogram with 10 classes, all I got to do is go to Window and change my X scale from 3 down to 2 and hit Graph, and it should generate 10 classes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classes there. So it looks like we have a few that are off there, but let me see there. So if it trace, we should be seeing our stuff there. So it should look something like that. So it looks like after that, we just don't have anything. So we should be looking for something like that in our multiple choice questions. Now, to do 20 classes, we can quit this and do 20 classes. We have to do 14 by 20. So 14 divided by 20, it's going to give us this 0.7, which would round up to then 1. So using my window, if I change my scale to 1 and hit enter, or they'll just actually just hit graph, it'll generate my 20 classes there. So you should be looking for something like this inside of your multiple choice questions. So if I hit trace, you can kind of follow it across here, and you should have something that looks like that. So that would be what we're looking for in those. So that's one way to do these histograms using technology is use the TI-84. So see if that's helpful.